Good afternoon, Aurora. Happy Friday. I hope everybody's had a good week. This is Alpha Leaks with myself, Declan, and here are the updates for this week. So, apologies, one moment. I'm getting a bit of back feed. There we go. Apologies. Okay, so big week here over at Aurora. As most of you will know, we had the full release for the Near Intense widget, making it easy for any project to embed Near Intense and enable cross-chain swapping within their own dApps. Now, on top of that, there's been a few little minor changes and tweaks that we've been working out this week. For example, something I'm particularly fond of is the latest Claude skill release, which now allows developers to embed Near Intense widget in just 60 seconds. Our head of product, Armand, who's actually on Alpha Leaks a couple of weeks ago, released a demo video, as you can see here. So if you're a developer and you're looking into launching Near Intense, or you want to be able to use the Claude skill app, take a look at the video where Armand gives you a step-by-step walkthrough on how it works. In addition to that, we've also been giving a bit more insight in how to set up and add custom fees within the Near Intense widget as well. So I touched upon this last week, but the beauty of the Near Intense swap widget is it will actually allow projects to start generating revenue as well from the swaps that are taking place within their platform. And with the widget, it couldn't be easier. Once you have your API key generated, you're literally able to set the fee that you would like to charge users. You have complete control over this. We don't have a minimum fee or a flat fee that is typically seen across a lot of the competing solutions. So you can make sure that it matches the business model that you're offering within your own application. And once it's done, you embed it and you go. So again, have a look at what we've been doing there and how you can set up fees on your side. Now, of course, big week next week, ETH Denver. There's going to be quite a few people attending. And if you saw the Near Town Hall that took place earlier in the week, you'll also know that there's going to be a dedicated Intense Day at ETH Denver. Alex Shevchenko is going to be doing a fireside chat there. I'll also be attending. It'd be great to see it. Any of you that are also going to ETH Denver, it'd be great to talk to you, meet you there. But if you really want to dive into the nuts and bolts about what Near Intense is all about, what the future of Near Intense holds, what we're doing with the widget, some of the ideas and thinkings that we have for the future, please do come along, where you'll be able to find out from all of the people that are the closest to the product. Now, last week we had the founder and CTO of Optima, who gave us a walkthrough of their product. Following that call and following some of the questions that were raised in it, they've actually prepared and released a simple tutorial on how the Optima Active portfolios work with Aurora under the hood. Take a look. It's super simple, but as I think you saw last week, they're seeing really impressive results despite the turbulence that we've actually been seeing within the market as well. Now, really excited to kind of share a huge partnership that Sproutly have announced this week. Probably one of the biggest partnerships actually that they could do. They've become the official sustainability partner for Circle, and they're actually going to be supporting USDC within the platform as well. I'm not going to go too much into this because, of course, we have the founders of Sproutly joining us on today's Alpha Leaks, and they'll be able to give us some more insights on this and what they're going to be working on. But before we kind of kick off there, let's have a look at the memes for this week. I understand that I've been referenced in a few of them, so God only knows what we're going to see, but let's have a look. Okay. God, I wish my friends were this kind to me. Okay, what have we got? Faster than Mr. Beast, Flash Usain Bolt. Okay. Dude, guys, I know I've put on weight, but not quite that much. Crypto folks will miss me. ETH Denver. Okay. Choosing between ETH Denver or Friday Alpha Leaks. Okay. Okay, can always rely on praise for a good Peaky Blinders reference. Okay. Sugar Rush drinking a couple of drinks for your excitement. Okay. Oh, Lion King reference, love it. Celebrate Valentine's Day with the right way. Oh, that's clever. And for anyone who hasn't got their misses something for Valentine's Day tomorrow, it's not too late. Other tokens, the bull market is over, everything is crashing. Aurora near, hold my beer. Okay. Yeah, to be fair, my dance moves are a bit like that. Okay, and then oh my god. Okay. Guys, you're really flattering with your images. Okay, so yeah, Bitcoin bulls, you're going to win one. Congratulations. Julian, you're our second winner. Despite the turbulence in the market this week, actually, Aurora and Near did hold their own quite well. And then my final winner, yeah, I'm going to go with Peaky Blinders. It's always a pretty safe bet there. Okay, congratulations to our 3 winners. I look forward to seeing what you guys are going to produce next. And without further ado, I think it's actually time to invite our guest speakers. We have Jaap and William, co-founder from Sproutly. They're going to be joining us now and talking about what they're up to, what they're going to be up to, and of course, the most recent partnership announcement. So Jaap and William, welcome. Great to have you on board. Thanks for joining. Look, I guess we'll start by just asking, a question that, the simplest question of all. What do you guys do? How do you work? And what is most interesting about it?
You want to kick off, Jaap? Oh, you can kick off.
Yeah, what we do. So in a nutshell, we plant agroforestry systems in Brazil and Angola. We tokenize the systems. We are talking about high impact systems here, right? So they influence 9 sustainable development goals. But the beauty of this is that we use, of course, a virtual chain on Aurora to create an impact ledger where we basically we are able to prove in an immutable way where the actual CO2 comes from on a tree level. So every single tree is geotagged. The tree is absorbing CO2 and is creating impact in other ways. And we use blockchain technology to basically store all those information and use it as the ultimate proof. That's what we do under the hood. And I think William can talk a little bit more about all the use cases possibly, because this is maybe the boring part, but we also offer a huge ecosystem on top of that with loads of use cases.
I think this StreamYard is we can talk for hours to explain all of our use cases, but I think if we see the biggest use case that we right now focus a bit more on is the game. We have a game where we enable Web2 users to interact with what we do, and then in the background guide them through to the Web3 site with rewards that you can earn, tokens, compost. We also partner with VeChain for tokens. And I think what is good that even in this market, you see more people that are still willing to make an impact. And as we gamify it, it feels a bit like a change in this market. So we see lots of good adoption, huge numbers increase in the metrics we see every week. So that's pretty cool. And I mean, Jaap is more in the background, busy with the engine, but what we are building right now, as for use cases, it's crazy to see. There was also, well, you mentioned Circle already, but it was a part of that Circle was so happy that we are a project in this market, still building and not waiting things out. But as soon as we are able, we release things, and I think that is what we are working on the most right now.
Maybe you guys can go a little bit more into what this partnership means. Obviously, I mean, Circle are an absolute giant within the space, right? So to choose you guys as their sustainability partner is obviously massive. Huge congratulations to obviously the work that you've done there. But what does it actually mean? So what will you be doing for Circle? What do you think that will do in terms of trees planted, progress made? Walk us all through what it's about.
Yeah, it started with the Alliance program. So Circle has an Alliance program where certain companies and projects from around the world are being brought together to also work together, right? So Circle is hosting events all around the world, and people from that alliance program are companies like BlackRock, Mastercard. I mean, it's the biggest names in the world are part of their alliance program. And when I was speaking with them, we explained what we do. Besides our chain, I mean, they partner with Sproutly Chain, of course, but besides our chain work, we do sustainability and tree planting. They said, but this is amazing. It's a chain that focuses on impact and on change, and we want you to become our sustainability partner. And the first step was the interview that you saw and retweeted. I think we saw it in the preview, where we did a sustainability interview on what we hope to achieve. And now we are exploring methods to work together with them and their partners to increase tree planting and impact on chain.
How many trees?
Just a start, right? So it's
no,
just
cool.
started
Cool.
it. It's yeah.
How many trees have you guys planted to date? And from what I understand, right, there's a direct link between obviously the game and obviously the real world tree planting. How does that work?
Right now we planted 711,250 agroforestry systems, and normally we call them trees, but that it doesn't suit it because it's an agroforestry system. And on average, each system contains 6 vegetation types. So we are a little bit over 3 million vegetation planted. And the game, we started with the option to purchase agroforestry systems, I think 3 or 4 weeks ago. And we are now at around 600 impact systems planted for the game. So that's nice growth.
And what have you seen there? Obviously, being able to play a game. I mean, for anyone who knows me, I'm obviously a big gamer. At least when I have the time to. But what have you seen in terms of like adoption and engagement with the game? How's that gone? Because obviously this was something you guys were developing when you first joined the Blocks program, right? How's that progressed?
Yeah, so we always saw the game as an extra, but with current market conditions, you don't want to push your token launch too fast. So we spent a little bit more time on the game. And when we release it, for the game, we have done 0 marketing, right? So let's have that clear. And we started with a few hundred or a few dozen active players. Then last month we went to a few hundred players, and today we saw that we reached 1,000 active players now. So that's pretty good for the game. So we see an increase of I just shared the numbers somewhere, but it was like 40% in more XP earned according to past week, and compost was also plus 20%. So we see huge increase in the adoption of the game, and again we have I think we have 5,000 plus downloads right now, and 1,000 are active of those. So that's 20%, which is huge in the gaming numbers. So we are very proud of that, and I think it attracts people, right? It's like a Tamagotchi, and I'm from that period, right? That I know what a Tamagotchi is, but
I remember.
You too. But I think the youngsters under us, they don't know what a Tamagotchi is, but it's like a Tamagotchi style game. You have to take care of your tree, you have to nurse it, and then you can harvest it, and the fruits they give you compost. We have orchards now, and basically guilds where you can compete, reward. And me and Jaap, before this call, we just finished discussing the orchard researches, which will be huge. You have all benefits when you join an orchard, and we'll have limited events. It's also that the game just started, and it's amazing to see.
No, congratulations. And obviously, it'll be something we're watching quite carefully. Obviously, you guys though have you don't just have to worry about the crypto market, right? You also have to keep a very close eye on what's going on in the real world, because obviously everything's tied into the direct planting of trees, carbon offsets. What's happening in the carbon offset market right now? And in fact, maybe you can give a very brief overview of what that actually means, because of course, many people listening might not actually know anything about kind of carbon offset, why it matters. Could you give a brief overview there?
Well, I don't think we want to go into geopolitical stuff in this stream, but it is important for us because the stuff we saw happening over the past months is not really positive for climate change related stuff, CO2 offsetting. So what we've seen, and it's not that it is directly a problem for us because the market is big enough, especially for a niche product as we offer. But still, if you look at the mid-range companies, they are basically saying, okay, the whole sustainability stuff, let's just put that on hold because of the geopolitical stuff. They are just waiting on the sideline and see what's happening. The European Union is, of course, scaling down sustainability requirements. The US is completely ignoring them right now, so that's not a positive influence. We think it's just a phase, and it will change again. So it's not really a big deal. And the stuff we are doing is, of course, long term. I mean, you can't plant a tree or a system and expect that it will change the world in an hour. I mean, that's not going to happen. So it's long term anyway. But well, to answer your question, we've seen loads of changes in the market. They are making a huge difference. But we still focus on the same thing. Like I said, we are a real niche. So I'm not really worried about that.
No, thank you. I'm very well navigated, by the way. It's always a tricky topic, isn't it?
Yes.
Especially when you're on a live stream. A mistake I've made more than once, and probably will make again. Obviously, you talked about kind of long term, right? What does that look like for you guys? What is the long term goal? What is the 2 years, 5 years time where you sat there and go, okay, yeah, we made it?
Well, I think our long-term goal is so we are basically working on compliance a lot. Sometimes, well, when I speak to William, we basically think, well, we are not a typical company doing crypto stuff and development and creating cool use cases. No, we are basically working on compliance, legal issues, certifications, that kind of stuff. This also means that tenders take a long time. So this is basically the answer to your question. We are involved with many tenders. To give a little bit more insights about that, a tender is basically a large company, so one of the Fortune 2000s. They have a huge sustainability question they want to offset using, well, a company like us. They start a tender. We can basically join the tender. We are doing that for multiple, but this will take about 1 up to 2 years for a single tender to basically up to the decision making time, right? So it's long term. But when one of those tenders will be a positive outcome for us, this basically means that we instantly sold 100% of our stock. And that will make a huge difference in terms of then we can reinvest into new tree planting. We can do lots of nice things for the existing investors and communities. All the use cases will instantly be very attractive. So it's all tied together. And it's not, our whole setup is not like a typical project where it could be short term. No, it's more long term, but I think it will be very rewarding because of that long term.
I think also people forget that, right? That we still see it also from within our community, that sometimes people think that we can change things super fast, but it doesn't work like this. We are connected with the real world, and
it's also a regulated space, right? You can't.
Yeah, exactly. We can't speed things up. We have to wait for. Certifications take months. Companies take months, and everybody thinks it's easier than just go to a company and sell some CO2. Yeah, doesn't work like that, right? It's yeah.
A company like Circle, so that's important. That's nice to know. Is different because they already have the understanding about blockchain, crypto, tokens, NFTs. They already know what real world assets mean. So we don't need to explain stuff to them. They already understand. But a regular company, they don't know. They are just checking. Okay, do they have the right certificate? Are they compliant? Can I trust them? And when they see crypto or NFTs or tokens, then that's most probably a no, so a red flag, right? So it works completely different depending on the company you are talking with.
No, that's great. Well, look, guys, thank you very, very much. I guess I'll get one last question in. Obviously, you've said what you are, what you're doing, and what your long term looks like. Any alpha that you want to share right now, in terms of what we can expect to see from you guys in the next few months?
William, do you have any alpha?
Yeah, well, I think you
are going to get married, of course. That's a big alpha, but that's
that's indeed, that's
hopefully his wife knows.
She said yes. So, but no, I think I mean, dashboard going live is the biggest one, right? So maybe, let's
basically what we decided. I mean, we can all wait for the bull market to start up again, right? But we are not going to do that. So we basically decided, okay, we are going to skip all the marketing mumbo jumbo. And we are just going to release all the updates. So our new dashboard with basically all the use cases we promised is going live. I think within 2 weeks already. So that's pretty fast. The migration from Polygon to Sproutly chain, so that's the Aurora chain, will also be completed very, very soon. So this means that our whole ecosystem will be live on our own chain.
Amazing.
With USDC support, with a seed token. So our main token, you need it to pay for your transactions, obviously. And we will just have to wait and see how this is going to tie in with a potential token sale and stuff like that. But I think we will manage. But I think that's the biggest alpha.
Right. Amazing, guys. Thank you very much. I have a question actually for you that's from one of the people who are watching right now. So Silver Surfer has asked a question. Can you expand more on why you opted for a dual token economy and what inspired you to implement it and the advantages you seek?
Yeah, a dual token. Well, we have a main token called Seed and a secondary token called Compost. And Compost can basically be earned off chain, right? So you can earn Compost in the game. We wanted this token to be freely available, and you should be able to earn it by investing some of your time. So it doesn't cost you any money. So the whole setup is different compared to the C token, because the C token is more like you can invest, you can speculate, you can use it for certain use cases, but it has it has a value, right? It is being traded. Compost is not being traded on a DEX or anything. It does have a value, by the way, but that's another story. So that's why we've basically designed a dual token economy, because we just were not able to use one single token for this.
Okay, brilliant. I don't know if this question is for you, Saeed. If you're still watching, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm assuming this is in reference to the planting of the trees, right? But what happens on chain if any real world assets fail, degrades, destroyed? How is that handled for token holders?
Yeah, that's part of the ecology side. So basically, when we got certified under the UN guidelines, we had to make sure that we have a backup rate of those assets that we put on chain. So we have 100% backup rate of trees and 100% backup rate of CO2. So basically, you have 200% backup. And what happens if your tree dies in the real world? Then we blacklist it on chain, and it will be replaced with a secondary tree, the backup tree. And then we have to again backup the backup tree to keep ensuring that 100% backup rate. So token holders, the only thing they will potentially see is a different geolocation in their dashboard, because all trees are transparent in geolocation. So it is possible that you have a tree in somewhere in the north of the Amazon, and something happens, and then one day you log in and one is in the south of the Amazon. That is possible. It hasn't happened yet, and that's because we work with smaller farms instead of large planting sites, and the risk of fatality in those trees is very low. It only is due to drought or too much rain. It's also something that can happen, but it's so low that we haven't seen it yet. We've been doing this for 3 years right now, so it's a very good number.
Yeah, and the farmers simply replant automatically.
Yeah,
So if
yeah,
a
because
tree
it's their
dies,
livelihood.
yeah, they are making money because of those systems. So they are replanting in the first place. And if they don't, then the stuff William just explained will happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, amazing. Well, look, I think that's all of the questions for you guys. So thank you so much for joining us. We'll definitely do another session with you guys, maybe in the second half of the year, to get a progress update, see how many trees you've planted, and see what else you've been doing. So thank you both for joining. And obviously,
Thank you.
Quickly go through the last outstanding questions. Okay, so questions are in relation to Aurora. So we have a question here from Praise. What discovery in East Denver that intrigued you the most, and how will it help Aurora grow? I will answer that question for you when I get back from East Denver after next week. So we'll be there next week, but I'll be sure to give you an update as soon as I get back. Okay, so with the current development of near intents, do you think we will have more volume before the end of the quarter? So obviously, the market in its current format is definitely taking a downturn. But interestingly, the volume is still taking place and going up. So I'd like to think we're still going to see continued increases in volume before the end of the quarter. Of course, in relation just to the widget, absolutely we'll see more volume because it only went live a week ago, and we're still onboarding over a dozen different projects as we speak. Okay, Leoton. Is it possible to organize an intents day for simple users? I'm assuming what you're asking there is like for those who can't attend East Denver. And yeah, there's a number of town halls that we do, but perhaps what we could do is actually bring Alex back on to Alpha Leaks for a session that's solely around kind of near intents, how it works and what it does. If, however, you mean how do we use it from a product point of view, there's quite a few videos that are already online. But again, I'm sure Armand would be more than happy to do a session there as well. Okay. So do you think there'll be an integration of the near intents widget on Optima? Yes, I do. We touched upon this when they were on Alpha Leaks last week. This is absolutely something we're going to be helping them with. So Kevlar has asked, does Aurora receive part of the fees for transactions through the near intents widget? Yes, absolutely. So essentially, when it comes to the commercial structure for the widget, we allow projects to solely determine whatever price they want. So if they want it to be completely free, they can. That's their choice. But any fee that they do charge, yes, we receive a percentage of that, which of course is going to help us with future development and further enhancement of the widget and our other product suites over the next year or two. We have a question from Immortal. Do you think near intents will integrate more fiat into the fiat exchange? Yeah, so actually this is something that came up in a conversation earlier this week. Yeah, I'd say watch this space. I think there's a lot of eyes that are looking at this at the moment. Not much I can really share right now, but yeah, keep an eye on it. Okay, we have another question. We have a question from Obsidian. Optima's active portfolio is a genius. How are you guys going to work on growing adoption? Yeah, I agree. What they've done there is fantastic. They did share some insights that, on what their focus is going to be on last week's Alpha Leaks. So give that a watch. If not, reach out to the team. More than happy to connect you guys if you want to find out more. I think there's only one more question. Yeah, Aphid, what is going to be your main focus at East Denver? Yeah, so the main focus is absolutely going to be the widget. So near intents is a core focus. Of course, I'll be also meeting with some of our potential Calyx projects as well. But of course, with Near Intents Day taking up 2 floors, you know, of the main site, I'm going to be spending a lot of my time there. So I'm not there for the whole week. I'm going to be there from Wednesday. So I think that's everything, guys. Please have a fantastic weekend. Rest up. If you're going to ETH Denver, please reach out to me. You can DM me on Twitter, or you can contact me directly on Telegram. It's just @DeclanHannon. I would love to meet up with you and hear your thoughts on what we're doing, and of course ideas. And other than that, I will see you. I'll see you next time on Alpha Leaks. Take care. Goodbye.